Good morning, guys. Good morning. Somebody give me a sound check. Let me know if you hear me okay. Let me get myself organized here a little bit. Good morning. You guys hear me okay? Let me see if I can share my screen. Where's everybody? Hello, you guys hear me? Oh wait, sorry. I think I'm not seeing you guys. Okay, hang on. My history is all oh, there we go. Hey Lewis, Stephen, good morning, good morning, good morning. Okay. Hey, oh, all right. Look, we're getting set up for a trade here, just as we open up. NAS approaching session lows. Very, look at the tight range in the NAS versus the range in the Dow. Well, let's see how this plays out. I'm not loving this trade, but I'll take it if we get a green candle on this. I'll take it for a 5. And if if it comes back down against us, we'll just we'll go again into larger size. Overnight there was a couple of actually there were some decent trades in the Dow. I didn't trade anything in the Nasdaq at all because Nasdaq was so tight all session long. But the Dow, I shorted over here on the highs. I kind of I didn't re-shorted on this one, even though this wasn't a high. This was a secondary high, but I traded that, so that was fine. The fade trades have really been, the fade trades generally are the better trades in Asia session because essentially you're going to make fresh highs, fresh lows, and then you're going to have a mean reversion trade. So here we go. Let's see if we can play this this NAS over here. Okay, I'm going to take this NAS. Where am I at? Oh, I'm gonna take 5 points here. Hang on a second. So I'm long this thing right now with 10.5. Really, just a very. I'm just adjusting my my targets and stops. I can't wait to be able to do this on NAS. So I'm like effectively around like 92 on the futures. But let's see if we can get any kind of movement on the CFDs. I basically need, what's my TP on this? Oh, I gotta go. It's my TP. Hang on. I always forget this thing doesn't get adjusted. So 03, basically 04. So 1503.04 is my TP. We'll see. This is not a. It's pre-market. They're kind of testing the lows. We did drift quite a lot off the lows, so maybe there's a chance here. Basically, we need to see 98s to to bounce on the futures for me to get the equivalent on the CFDs. So let's see if I can get a small scalp going on over here as far as trade goes. Dow is just straight up midfield, not really much going on over here. NAS has been, considerably weaker all night long and really like yesterday. PPI came in hotter today. That's not positive Nasdaq because it suggests that rates are going to go up, and rates are really quite strong here today. You see that 10 is 136, up about 2.5%. That's affecting. I think it's got to be affecting gold, right? Yeah, gold is down 49. So generally not a fundamentally firm tone for NAS, but we're just looking for a bounce here off the low. We just really need to see 98 on the futures for me to get this done. I wonder if I can. Let me see if I can just compress this. Hang on a second here, guys. Trying to make this into like a narrow little thing. Like this. And maybe that allows me to transpose this on both charts. So that kind of lets me do it. But if we have two instruments running, then I may not be able to do it fully. But let's see. All right. So other than that, it's just sort of very, very quiet. Not much going on today. It's been super quiet. Even yesterday during the day, there were just a couple of runs, but we pretty much made our highs, lows at the 10 o'clock hour, and then treaded water the rest of the day. We really haven't had much of a movement because it's August and there isn't much going on. But we saw yesterday. The one thing I kind of really wanted to emphasize that we saw yesterday, the power of picking the fade move with tight stops and decent size. A proper size. Proper seed size. I'm obviously trading with very, very small seed size, but you need a balanced view of. I'm still trying to figure out what would be the the right. The key to trying to figure out the right trade size. I'm almost there. I'm trying to see if I could get this. I need 90. I need 98. Why is this not moving, guys? Just really trying to catch up this thing. Let me see. All right. Should we just take? All right. We'll take. I was trying to take 4 on this, but okay, good enough. 3.5. Just because I have no real feel for where we're at. The Dow is inching to the upside. Nas, as I said, has been a laggard. So I don't have. If I was on futures, that would have been a pure 5-point trade. Because I'm on CFDs, I gotta battle spreads. So I'll take it where I can get it. But what I was going to say is, I'm still theoretically we have the size stop concept really, I think, proven pretty well. So you maximize your stop at 10 on NAS, so you really have very, very little. I'm talking about only for the scalp trades, not for the session trades. If we're trading session trades and we have like a session set up at a particular time, those I think are very clear. It's like a 20-point stop, 10-point target. No increase in size. You're not going to go back. You just do one trade per session, and you hope that 3 out of 4 sessions you win, or let's say you trade only 2 sessions. You win 3. You win 3 out of 4 of those sessions over a series of days on accuracy basis. But when it comes to just scalping, which is the higher frequency, just let's lay down points as we keep going. That really requires, especially when you're fading highs and lows. And there we go. By the way, I totally gave it up too early. So this would have been a full 5. Anybody trade the long Nas with me here? Anybody took that little pop? No? Yes? Connie? So I'm really still trying to figure out the proper sizing mechanism for what, because it's not the seed size, it's the final size that really matters. And I think that the key to really making this strategy complete is figuring out what is your terminal size. What I mean by that, is what is the maximum size you're going to go to, and then after that, if it doesn't work, you just you come back and you restart the whole process. I'm still trying to figure that out. I think honestly, what we did yesterday, which was full lot, which is 100,000 units, basically 10 times notional, which is 10, with a 10 stop, puts me at 100. Would have put me at 100. No, actually, I gave myself 1020. That wasn't a Dow. So I was willing to lose. I don't know. That may be a little bit too much. That may be a little too much, honestly. I think what you want to do is you want to say to yourself, I never want to lose more than 1% gross. Let's say if it's a 10,000, I never want to have, my biggest loser should not be more than $100. That may be very conservative, 1%. because those losses are relatively rare, and you possibly could. I mean, if you wanted to have more risk, you could say, well, I'm willing to take one single loss. My maximum biggest loss can be 4%. So it's like four standard lots. Yeah, Tony, I wish I had. It's like it's annoying because I'm battling very, very slow markets and slow CFDs. I could have held it for full 5, but I didn't. And look at same thing with Dow. Look how choppy Dow is. It's just like these candles have like all these gaps inside of them because there's just nothing going on here. But anyways, that's really the final piece of the puzzle, is to figure out terminal size on risk basis. Then you can just work backwards from that. I mean, we actually went four trades into it. And the reason I went 4 trades into it is because I kept stops very tight. So I kept getting stopped out even before we broke fresh highs, right? Which actually brings me to like another interesting idea. Our setup always says, well, we have the fresh highs and we need a red candle. But sometimes I notice that if we have fresh highs, but we have, let's say, a green candle that does not break fresh highs, and that's a rare case, but it happens sometimes. That may be a decent entry, because you're actually entering very close to the highs, and therefore your posture is much better, your positioning is much better, and you have a chance to to make the trade. Regardless, I think the one thing that I think is really, really true about this setup, that just inarguable, incontrovertible, is that stop size is much more important than stop. Meaning that there is no value in expanding the stop. It's better to get stopped out 2 or 3 times in a row on tighter stops than it is to widen the stop. And there's actually a couple of reasons for that. I'll explain to you why. So let's say just for argument's sake, I don't know. Imagine this was the high. This was the high, and it's a bad example. Let me give you a good visual example of this while we're waiting, of like why. Yeah. Okay. All right, just for argument's sake. So imagine this was the high, and I short this, right? But let's say my target is 10 points, and this only goes like 6 points. So it doesn't make my target, right? So, and I have like a 10 point or 20 point stop, and I have a choice of expanding my stop or taking my stop and restarting the trade. Well, if I expand my stop to, I don't know, 40, right? I'm still in this position. So even if I give myself a wider stop, I never get into a profitable mode because my entry price is poor, right? On the other hand, if I enter here and get a short, get stopped out on a short stop, right? And then re-enter at larger size, my entry is much better. My entry is much higher. And even like, you can really see this in this particular sequence where you are, if you enter over here, expand the stop, doesn't help you, expand the stop doesn't help you, because the price never comes into your original entry. But if you enter here, get stopped out, enter here, get stopped out, enter here, get great traction on the third time, boom. The key here is to get great entry, not to worry about the stop. I think that's the whole idea. Yeah, Ricky, I guess it could. That's not a bad idea, Ricky. Actually, Ricky is saying that we should have a equity lot size. That's not a bad idea, actually, Ricky. I can talk to. It's a good idea. What Ricky is saying is where's my thing? Is that there are a couple of things I wanted to kind of modify in this tool, and the equity is not a bad idea. Except remember that I'm dynamic. I would have to figure out how we can dynamically step it up, because what I'm trying to do is, let's say I have a seed size. That seed size is 1. Next seed size is 3. Next seed size is 9. I'm always cubing my seed size up to levels of 3. Stepping up to levels of 3. So you could, I guess you could, if depending on what level you're coming in, you could seed it. Yeah, I mean, we just need to figure out how to design the UI for it. But that's not a bad idea, Ricky, to kind of go larger for a particular setup. But anyways, you guys get the idea of what I'm saying, which is that it's much more about positioning and size factor than it is about stops, right? You should be right or you're out, on just a continuous basis, and then that's how you can add points on and on and on and on. Does that make sense to everybody? Anyways, we got 15 minutes to the open. We're mid-range on all the trades. PPI a little bit hotter today, pressing the 10-year higher, maybe weighing on the market. I keep waiting for the market to fall, and it isn't. So maybe today is the day where we're going to get a slide to the downside. But right now, it's hard to see anything of interest. We did have, if we were session trading, it's just such a quiet day. I mean, if you took this, you could have taken the 2 o'clock trade on the sell side. Although remember, what I really like is the session reversal trade. So like what I like is, okay, we get around, we come in around 2 o'clock, that's the European Open. And what I'm looking for is a flip of the flow. So the flip of the flow here would have been a really good trade. So if basically what you're looking for is a signal that reverses the prior signals. In this case, that would have been a buy signal reverses the sell signal. You buy this at 82. You did have a draft here. You obviously have to give yourself at least 20 points in Asia. So you bought at 82. It goes down to around 70, and then climbs very steadily, and actually would have climbed really nicely for a big move. On the NAS, actually, it's interesting. How did the NAS do on the 2 o'clock turnover? So we had a 2 o'clock. So depending on where you had your stops, so you were at 1501. I mean, it did eventually work your way, but how much of a drawdown did you have? You had a 1500. Yeah, you had to give yourself that 20 on the NAS. If you gave yourself 10, you didn't have, I like trading NAS 10 on the scalp side, but on any kind of a session position, you have to give yourself the 20 points. If you gave yourself 20 points, you did have breathing room, and it eventually worked your way, flipped around, on the European session open. And then yesterday, actually, let's go back here. So here's the, what I like is actually, the other thing I like is the 10 o'clock reversal signal. So again, same kind of a thing, reverse flows. So sell preceded by a buy. It's a reversal signal at 10 o'clock, kind of like, here's the market getting all excited, and then it totally changes course. Here you're trading it with a 10-20. You're able to survive that easily. So, you short 42s, you stop at 62, you only go about 10 against you, and then boom, 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 it really starts to come in on the sell side. So it was like a really interesting, nice reversal. Those are my favorite kind of session trades, where you reverse the flow, because then it gives you everybody's positioned one way, and they have to offset themselves. So you have lots of potential for continuity. Have fun. 430 is my high. This is probably gonna run the open. I'm a little bit leery, but I'm like, if they're going to run the 30s, I'm definitely going to be buyer here, because on the first pop through the numbers, I want to participate in the Dow move. But other than that, I got nothing. Let's see what we're doing here. Ten minutes left. Not much left here. Super quiet. Who's new in the room? Anybody new in the room here that has any questions? Let me see. Oh, Andy's in the room. He's new. If you have any questions, Andy, feel free to ask. We basically trade 3 types of trades. We trade opening session trend signals, and I was telling you what I really like, which is the reversal trend signal, where you know, around a particular time, around the beginning of the session, you get a signal that reverses the prior signal, because that means you have a chance of continuity. We trade session high, session lows, especially at the beginning of the session. If they run the session highs at the beginning of the session, we definitely want to be in that position. And then the rest of the time, we like to fade. You know, as they break fresh highs, we like to find points of reversal. Points of reversal are always started by a red candle after a session high or a green candle after a session low. And sometimes it takes about 2 or 3 times for us to pluck out the right position. And that's where it requires, you know, sizing in the position. But that's the most common thing we like to do, because a lot of times it's going to make fresh session highs, fresh lows multiple times. And while that, you know, in retrospect, it looks easy to trade the trend, it's actually almost impossible to figure out how long the trend is going to extend. But it's very easy to anchor and understand where the trend is, so that you can go counter trend against it, because there's always is the reversion from the, depending on when. So Lewis is asking me, is the reversion trade from high low a higher percentage than the expansion? Depends when. It depends when and how. There are days where it's just, you know, fresh highs, fresh highs, fresh highs. But even on those days, you still have lots of mean reversion. I would say, like, in principle, yes, but you know, it by no means does it mean that every time you make a mean reversion trade, it's going to be a winner. It's just that it's definitely, I think, it's much higher percentage that the price is going to recede off the highs and lows than they continue, because it requires more. If you think about this, it requires greater and greater force to push things higher or push things lower. Whereas on the reversion side, all you're looking for is just a pause in that force. And since there's always a pause, you know, after a burst, a wave, it's like saying, you know, I mean, it's not a perfect analogy, but it's a decent one. It's like, is the chance of a tsunami lower than the chance of a you know, tide or roll back at a tide? And of course, tides happen every single day. Tsunamis happen very rarely. It's not by any means a perfect analogy, but it just kind of gives you the idea of trend versus counter trend. You see what I'm saying, Lewis? So, wow, look at it. One of the most interesting things that I noticed this week, and that's going to be, it's actually something we got to keep an eye on, is the incredible contraction in volatility in Nasdaq. It is, I mean, Nasdaq used to generally 100 points in Nasdaq is the lower end. Nasdaq usually trades 200 points wide, right? High to low. Yeah, but CPI came out yesterday and it was lower. I mean, I still, you know, I think the jury's still out on the inflation. Inflationary pressures are still seem to be supply driven, not demand driven. And I think that, you know, concurs with a more benign view of it than like that inflation is going to be permanent. It's not. There's like I am in the camp that inflation is transitory, because the single biggest reason why inflation was persistent in the 60s and 70s is because we had very strong union labor force, and union contracts mandated cost of living adjustments and wages, so that there was this incredible push-pull cycle where companies had to pay higher wages to their employees indexed to inflation. That doesn't happen now. I'm trading. I'm trading this whole week. I'm trading the CFD versions, NDX and the US 30, because I'm still trading in the contest for the next day or two. And then I'm probably going to revert back to the futures, because I like the futures a lot more. But basically, honestly, in September, and actually, what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to see if I can integrate the futures into TradingView, because one of the things I've discovered is I could make trades in MT4, and as long as my account is connected from MT4 to TradingView, it will show up on TradingView. I hate the way we have it here, where we have to have the MT4 floating above the TradingView. It really, distracting. What I'd much rather do is have this off screen, place trades in this thing, but have them show up on TradingView. So I can do this, but not with ACAP until ACAP integrates with TradingView, which is going to be coming in a matter of weeks. So once they do, then this whole arrangement is going to go away. It's going to make it a lot cleaner and easier to view charts. We're going to look everything through on TradingView. I mean, the world is really. I think if you're a trader these days, the way you should be doing it is you you look at all your charts on TradingView and you execute everything off of MT4, and that's basically it. You should like in real life, the way I have it is I have this completely off screen. I'm just watching this screen and I'm just executing over here on the back end. I'm only just showing this to you guys because I have no way to when this is integrated, what will happen is I'll press a button over here and it will show the trade live on TradingView, and that's really, really cool. All right, we got like 3 minutes crawling in the Dow. Let's see if the Dow takes out the 30s. So that's a 34, 425, 30. Let me focus on the Dow is over here. That is, what is it? The 23, we're 10 up, right? It's, I guess, a 10, 11 up. So I guess it's going to be 25s. It was 24 to 14. It's a 10-point premium. And the high over here is just 27, really? Super good. What is the high here? Yeah, 27. Wow, we're not that far away. So it's really 17 on the CFDs that runs the highs. So let's see if the Dow wants to run the highs. Nasdaq is really not interesting, so I'm not even watching it for now. But let me put it this way, like this, so we can watch both for a bit. So 27 on futures is the Globex high. Watching that. Got trade at 2010. One minute to the open. little bit anemic today. Not a lot of interest here so far. Let's see what they do. Selling on the open, interesting. Nas is actually buying on the open. Wow, Dow is really lots of sell orders on the open. Okay, let's watch it. Let's see what it does. So it did not take out, didn't even try to run for the highs. But let's see, this could be just opening rotation. Let's see if they want to gun it. Like, one of the things I love is when they sell it and then bring it all the way back. Take out, like, sort of flush the lows and then start take out the highs. That's a great setup. I definitely want to trade it. But until I get something, now NAS is touching the lows. I'm not, the first 5-10 minutes, I don't trade the lows. I want to see, exactly, where the anchor points are before I get involved. Take the clock off because we're already past the open. Not a lot of activity. See, you see how slow the remember, like in July, how fast the candles would be, how wide ranging the price action would be. So this is August. No, Ian, the reason why I like TradingView is because it's a much more elegant, much more visual platform. I mean, and I can't really load the kind of beautifully. We can't do a dynamic high-low in MT4. I mean, MT4 is a crappy 20-year-old program. It's great for execution. That's what I'm saying. It's an excellent execution program. It's terrible for visualization. So no, we don't want to go back to MT4. We only want to just kind of bridge it to TradingView. No, we could make a bite on this Nasdaq for the lows. I don't know if I love it, but I really don't. I just have such a, I mean, this may work, but I just have very little confidence in this trade. Although, I should have just trusted myself, and it definitely would have worked. Yeah, that would have worked. I should have just taken this Nasdaq trade. I'm just, like, that was a classic, nice little turn. I missed it. I didn't pull the trigger. It wasn't good enough. Dow is probing the lows. That gets interesting. So let's see what I mean, Dow went from plus 20 basis to -7. Let's see what they want to do with the Dow here. We basically fell right from the highs, 100 points here, making fresh lows. Fresh lows on the Dow. So we'll give it wow, really bounced back hard. I was gonna, I wanted to chase this, but this is the reason. This is where I don't like it. Where the candle is like 20 points, all the profit is already in the bounce candle. You either now I have to just be patient, and because it's probably going to retest the lows again. and see if I can get a better entry. And if I can't, then when I get a V-shaped move like this, you just have to let it go. Meantime, I'm going to watch this a little carefully. If this kind of stabilizes, this might be another interesting bounce for us to the upside. Oh, that was a really big V. It's a 1 minute candle. It was like a 50 point candle. All right, I'm watching NAS now just to see what's going on over here. Yeah, but looks are everything, Elon. Yeah, I mean, we have all the code for 5, and I agree with you that 5 is nice, but even 5 doesn't have the kind of visual capabilities of TV. I still think I'll show you how it works in practice, because I have like Oanda integrates with TV, and I have it working on Oanda, and it's really cool to be able to have the execution functionality of Meta with visual views of TradingView. It's not a perfect world. We just have to adjust to it. All right, watching NAS. NAS kind of getting plowed to the downside here. Plowed to the downside. Let's making fresh lows. We'll watch. We'll watch for the fade signal here. For the turn signal, if we get one. So the next thing I want to see is, this is interesting. Like now, it's going to make fresh lows. Okay, I was going to say, the interesting thing here is maybe to try a variant where if it doesn't, it's making fresh lows, so we're just letting it develop, waiting for some sort of stabilization. But if it wasn't going to make fresh lows but still stayed red, that might be an interesting kind of an arbitrage opportunity to get in early on the trade. Let's see if this candle turns. We've got 20 seconds. It's got to come up through the 60s in order for us to have a chance at it being a turn candle. All right, so this is where it gets interesting. So maybe this was the fake turn candle. This is a very, very tough situation to be in, because it's turning, but then you're afraid that if it completes and fakes you out for a fresh low, you kind of bought into an early move. So you have to, no matter how much you really want to jump early, you kind of have to wait, let this green confirm, or at least confirm with 10 seconds left on the candle, if you want to have a reasonable chance of this trade. All right, I'm going to go 5, 4, 3 seconds, and I came in too early, but let's give it a shot. So here I am. I came in here. Let's see if we can get the 5s on the. We get a reversal on the candle. So we need to see 70 on the futures for me to basically get up into 67, 399, 449. Boom, done. Okay, so that worked out. That was good. That was good because I really stuck to my guns. I didn't let the price action sway me. That was a nice clean 5 points, without any drama. Meantime, Dow coming back down to the lows. Let's see what it wants to do. Good job, Lewis. Lewis, are you trading futures? Oh, okay. Then you're making it easy on yourself. But you also see, by the way, why this is a scalp trade, right? You snooze, you lose. You cannot be greedy on these trades. You cannot be greedy on these trades because they'll turn on you in a heartbeat. We will be watching this though. I kind of want to watch this again because let's see, let's see where the price action is. Is it going to stabilize at these lows? That means we're going to try to build a base and maybe reverse? We'll see. Let's watch the price action a little bit here. Wasn't greedy, you're just slow. Why aren't you using the you probably which broker are you trading the NQ from? If you're using AMP futures, you could use MT5 tools that we have. Yeah, so I was playing around with this idea. I just didn't want to do it because it's not conventional. Is that this is a sort of a higher low off the lows here in Dow. It's not a trade that we like to do, but this would have worked over here. If you took this one to 77 to 87, that would have worked as a trade. So I'm just trying to experiment here. So let's see. If we haven't made fresh lows on this. We're going to experiment with this trade. This is just to see if we can add to our arsenal right here. This candle hasn't made fresh lows, right? So is that a reasonable entry for a long? So it looks like it might be. Yeah, and it is. And it is. that was good. So it was another 5 points. I know it was super quick, but again, notice how important it is to focus on the price action against session lows, session highs. That's where your interpretation and chance of probability becomes that much higher. Because everybody knows these reference points. Everybody's looking at these reference points. This is the tug of war. This is the Maginot line between the buyers and the sellers. So every time they can push it, one side wins. Every time they can repel it, the other side wins. So you're just trying to trade that little dynamic because it's the only one that's definitive. Everything else is interpretive, right? Moving averages are interpretive of price action, depending which moving average you are. Indicators are interpretive of price action, depending which indicator and setting you use, right? These are definitive because there is no doubt that this is the high or this is the low of the session. Oh, IB is a frigging nightmare. I don't even know why you bother. Jesus. Yeah, so you guys, you guys got the gist of what I was doing here, which is we didn't make fresh lows, right? So we didn't make fresh lows. I was like, okay, let's see if we're gonna bounce back up. Now, we're still fighting. This is still a battle, and we could make fresh lows now, and the battle begins again around this level where you try to see, continuation, repulsion, continuation. Those are the points of interest of where you want to engage yourself. When you're midfield, when you're mid-range, you literally don't have any edge. You have no idea because the goals are so far and wide, and it depends on who's got the money, to throw at that particular moment, in which direction. And whatever the candle is telling you is really not incredibly valuable information. That's why the highs and lows are just so much more valuable as a. I generally, basically, I've really realized that with our setups, there are only two things that really matter. the highs and lows of the day and the time of the day, because those things are very definitive. Everything else is highly contingent on whoever is doing what at that particular moment, right? Those 2 points are sort of unifying points for the whole market to realize, right? And everything else is just kind of wishy-washy. I could play. I'm not taking this trade, but we could play with this. I was going to say the reason why I'm not taking this is because it's not a strong green candle, so that's why I didn't want to do it. So now we're fresh lows. Now we're fresh lows. Now the battle begins again. Now let's, how much do we push it? Where are we going to go? Let's see if we're going to keep stabilizing or we're going to keep pressing lows. We're watching the battle, right? This line of conquest is what interests us, and we're going to try and trade it in an intelligent manner, hopefully. Notice also what's interesting, I always love to see this, is you have, this is another interesting that we could probably visually markate, which is the depth of fresh lows. In other words, how far did you move on each campaign, right? Here you moved a lot. You moved like 10, 12 points to fresh lows. Here you only moved like 2 points to fresh lows. So you really didn't make that much. This is a great trade. I'm going to take this long here. Effectively, oh, maybe I got screwed. No, maybe it's going to work. So I went long because this is a candle that is a green candle that makes fresh lows. It's generally a very good signal for us for a reversal, and it is. And boom, again, we make more money, make another 5 points. So this is, of all the candles that we love to do, this one is the highest probability. Lewis was asking me this, so this is the highest probability. If you get a red off the highs or a green off the lows, that tells you, okay, they probed it, they couldn't do anything with it, we're taking it back up the other way. That's why I didn't hesitate for a second. I took that trade, right? I don't know, did anybody, is Miguel in the room today? Where's Toreador? He's always so good at these trades. Is he around? Miguel, ¿cómo está? He's not here today. Really should just let him. Miguel loves to do these trades with me. Tony got 5 on Nas. Good job. Good job, Tony, darling. Tony, how much crap did you get in school for your last name? I just want to know. I just want to know. Like, how badly abused were you for that last name? And who else? Connie trade with me? Karen? Anybody? He says he survived basic training. Oh, I guess so. This is the funniest thing. Good job, Connie. Good job. That was a nice. Oh, it's an adopted name. All right, that's cool. Well, no, good job. Karen got 9. Nas 5 earlier. Good job, everybody. Yeah. So like, there's a great guy on Twitter who I follow who's like a volatility. He's a volatility trader in options. He's a very, very quantitative guy, Ben Finn. But he was posting something very funny yesterday. He was saying, what kind of a torture is it that the security software is asking you your nickname in high school, right? And I thought about it for a second. I was like, that's actually an amazingly great security password, because if you had a nickname in high school, especially like some kind of a nickname that wasn't really, really nice, you probably made every effort to forget it, and almost nobody would guess it, and therefore it creates like a perfect security variant. So it just made me laugh. I'm not going to reveal my nickname in high school because I actually want to use it for my security purposes. But suffice it to say that having a Russian name in American high school gave me a lot of grief. Dow coming into the lows. Let's watch the Dow. We are basically very quiet, man. Just 6 basis points down. Not much really going on. We don't have any data. The Fed guys are all kind of we have next week is Jackson Hole, right? By the way, let's see how well you guys know your Fed trivia. Why is the Federal Reserve meeting the most famous Federal Reserve meeting, you know, with all the academicians and everybody giving papers and having this big symposium? Why does it take place in this godforsaken, you know, place in, is it Wyoming? I think it's Wyoming, Jackson Hole, Wyoming, in August? Let's see if anybody knows the answer. Anybody have any clue as to why it's this random ass place in Wyoming that is the symposium central of all the central bankers in the world? And by the way, like, you know, Bank of Japan, Europeans, everybody comes to this meeting. Anybody have an idea? No? Nobody? All right, I'll tell you. Paul Volcker, who was, you know, in the 70s and 80s, one of the most powerful Federal Reserve chairman, really considered to be like one of the greatest Federal Reserve chairmen in the world, right? He loved to go fly fishing. And he wanted a venue where he could go fly fishing in the summer. So they literally created this symposium to accommodate him. And then when he resigned, they just kept the venue at that place. So it's just literally, it's basically how all idiotic tradition, like behind every tradition, there's usually an idiotic story that makes zero sense in modern world. So that is why Janet Yellen, who's never seen a fish in her life unless it was a gefilte fish on her mother's table, has to trudge, you know, had to trudge to Jackson Hole, and why Powell goes there. And Powell, I can't imagine Powell, you know, even putting his toe into the water. The guy is just such a you know, desk-bound jockey. But that is why everybody goes to Jackson Hole, because Paul Volcker started the tradition, which I think is hilarious. All right, breaking fresh lows on a Dow, testing a double bottom, but let's give it a chance. Plenty of room here for us to, or plenty of time for us to react if this thing is gonna pop. It's beautiful there. Yeah, I know. Who cares? It's nature. I'm sitting in the middle of nature. Just, you know, I was in New York this week. It was so nice. No nature, just buildings and people. And now I'm back in Jersey. Fresh lows, fresh lows. That's why we got, you know, we don't pull the trigger until we get some. This looks like, you know, maybe the Dow is starting to sell off a little bit. Maybe it looks like they want to maybe to test the 300. We'll see. We'll see. You know, if it was my style, and again, it's just not my style, and you know, this is my personal weakness, but I'd rather admit my weakness than try to trade it, which is that the right trade is to trade through these lows, to just take out, you know, trade the momentum lows. But I just, you know, I don't have it in me. This, by the way, is turning nicely here. Let's see if I want to give this. Let's see. This has got to hold them. It's still far away as a candle. Let's see where we're at. Okay, let's take this. Maybe it'll work. We'll see. But if it doesn't, I'll size up into this, because this is the first sign of a bottoming, right? So, you know, Dow is always volatile. It always requires 20 points of movement. You know, we may eat this thing right here if it doesn't come in. Yeah, I was going to say, it's always, you know, Dow is notorious for flipping us around. It takes me out. Fine. We'll size up and see what we can do here on the next one. The other thing I was going to say is, for sure, the high-low fade trade is a much better trade on Nasdaq than it is on Dow. Dow takes 2 or 3 times to kind of, get around the trade. It's always so herky-jerky at around these levels, much more so than the Nas. It's watching this trade. Let's see where where this candle lands us. Fresh lows, fresh lows. And it looks like they probably, remember I said it looks like they want to run it to 300. My thesis was correct. They're gonna take out the 300s probably, or get close to it. And only after that we're gonna have any chance for a bounce back. Let's see if we can hold this. All right, I'm going to gamble that this is going to be a green candle and just front run this move. Let's see if it works. Boom, done. Okay. Yeah, and so with the Dow, like I said, it's as much of an art as it is a science. So one of the reasons why I like to gamble is because, remember, look at this runaway candle. What happens with the Dow is, it's like a 30-20 candle just to the green side. So yes, it could retrace and hold, but the length, you basically have to start trading with like a 40-point stop, and it's just not worth the effort. So if I'm like 10 seconds into the close of the candle and it's starting to turn green, I'd rather run that. Take a chance on the fact that it's going to run, because a lot of times the profit is in the candle. So if you're trying this 3 or 4 times, it will eventually subside. Like this may actually, you could conceivably take this particular trade here. Let's say over here, like if you didn't get a chance to take it now, you could take it now. Let's just, theoretically take this at around 13, and it hasn't made fresh lows, right? So this, if you're 13, if this goes to 23, which this is probably going to go, you would have been there 20, maybe it's going to go to 23. Let me see. So it would have to go to 23 for us to make it a legitimate +10 trade. But that's not a bad, it's not a bad entry, right? There's 22, that's 21, that's 23, right? So if you had taken it, as I told you, another, right over here, you would have achieved the same goal as me coming in over here getting that move. But as I said, it's a lot more interpretive. With the Nasdaq, it's really clean to get that 5-10 points right away. But a Dow, because it goes up and down quite a lot, you really got to time it pretty well. But hopefully you guys, Tony got 10 on a Dow. Just had to wait for Boris to lose first. Oh, that's funny. Thank you, Tony. You're a little bastard. Thank you. That's fine. It's okay. I'm perfectly happy to be your guinea pig. But yeah, I mean, you guys get the idea, right? So the battle is back, and we're still basically net 10 on a day. So actually, a good job. Lewis got 10 on the Dow, on that move. So, you know, as I said, the Dow is a beast all its own, and we kind of have to time it. But the principle is all the same. We are looking for that turn, the signal for a turn at the extremes, at the highs, lows, because that's the highest probability signal for us to trade. I really suck at trading, you know, continuity off high lows. As you know, as good as they are, and as much of a move as there was over here for, you know, for a falling knife. My timing is much better at picking turns than it is at picking continuity trades, right? With the exception of with the session trades, because then I have a lot more confidence in my session signals. But you know, hey, if it's just, you know, if we just have continuity for session and reversal for scalps, that's all we need. You just need two to have a great arsenal for day trading. Today, very good day. I think we're 15 on the Nas, 20 on the Dow. So that's a 35 day, you know. I'm trying, you know, it's hard to make 50 every day, but if you can make between 30 and 50, that's pretty good, right? I think you guys banked, right? Everybody banked pretty well. So let's wrap it up. We don't have trade tomorrow because I got trading battle. I'm hosting trading battle. So come join us. A really interesting trading battle. My friend Etienne Crete, who runs a great podcast, is going to be trading. Be interesting to see what they do. But yeah, you know, hopefully you guys had a good time. I'm trying to remember what the hell did we? Let's just I don't even know let's look at the history. What are we from? So what time is it? It's 1700. So that was from 1600, right? So let's go historically to 1600. So is this it? Why is it only 2 trades? Didn't we do? Wait, hold on a second. What's going on over here? Well, oh, this is all the 1600. I was like, where are all my trades? Okay, so yeah. So we start over here. That's 15, 18, 10. Yeah. 28 points. Okay, not bad. Not bad. 28 points. That's fine. Watching this trade, 47 seconds left. So, you know, we could still be testing, but this could be another interesting. Watch this trade over here. Again, remember I said to you what I really want to do, and I'm going to see if I can get Daniel to do this. Is I don't know how to kind of visualize this, but it's the ratio of new lows to last. So this was the last, you know, session low. How far did we make it before it bounced back up? This is a new session low. Like how much progress we're making. This, by the way, looks like a buy on the Dow. But I got to run, so I let you guys manage this trade yourself. If this turns green on the candle, it might be a trade. If not, just let it go. There'll be plenty of opportunities. It's not. So let it go. Just there'll be plenty of opportunities for us to trade more. And that's it. All right, guys. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see everybody next week because, as I said, we'll have to cancel the Friday because I got trading battle. Thank you again. Everybody enjoy. Take care.